Okay. It is now 9:30 a.m. I would like to call the February 13th, 2024 meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there any public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications? Hearing none, I'll move on to approval of the minutes. We do have minutes to be approved and reviewed from January 23rd, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Ouellette. A second was made by Mr. Bach. I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Ouellette, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Motion carries. Now moving on to, bids and quotations. And first up.
Approval of the bills.
Oh, I lied. It's approval of the bills. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
I'll second.
Open it up for discussion. Hearing no discussion, I will call for the vote. Mr. Ouellette, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Motion carries. Now we are on to bids and quotations. On our agenda, we have cost reduction services from the administration department. This was tabled from January 23rd, 2024 meeting. And just a point of order, Mr. Shaw, do I need to call for a motion, or does it just sit?
I think you can just indicate that it's still, remaining table. I don't think you need to vote.
Okay. So this item will remain on the table. Next up, we have computers and accessories from the MPD, as well as police vehicles from the MPD.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief Mook.
Thank you. To meet replacement needs for police department computers, we are seeking approval to purchase 12 PC monitors, 2 laptops with a warranty, 13 PCs with a warranty, and 1 computer dock. Our IT manager, Chris Filson, obtained a quote from Velocity Network, which was $19,835. This was under the 2024 budgeted amount of $20,600. A full breakdown is as follows: 12 Dell 27-inch monitors for $2,628, 13 Dell Optiplex PCs, $11,505, 13 Dell Support PC warranties, $2,327, 2 Dell Latitude 15.6-inch laptops, $2,582, and 2 Dell laptop warranties, $498, and last, 1 Dell computer dock, $295. Do you want me to read the police vehicle?
Chief Mook, would you also read the vehicles? We're going to vote for them at the same time.
Okay. Now, there's a range of prices versus what I gave you, and I'll get into that as I read this request. Presently, there are 5 Ford SUVs used in patrol as frontline police vehicles, and all 5 have between 126,000 and 148,000 miles on them. They are at the end of their life cycle. The purchase price of a Ford Interceptor is less than that of a Chevrolet Tahoe. Unfortunately, Ford is not taking orders for Interceptors for this year. We also ran into supply chain issues with Ford last year, therefore our initial purchase of Chevy Tahoes last year. Today I'm requesting permission to purchase 5 Chevrolet Tahoe police vehicles from Whitmoyer Chevrolet. They are CoStar's vendor number 026E22203. Now, we requested first available vehicles, so the price range is between $52,500 and $53,000. If the vehicle does not have a spotlight, it's $52,500. If it has a spotlight, it's $53,000. Also, these vehicles will be outfitted with emergency and electronic equipment by Team Force at a cost of $18,808.80 if they need to install a spotlight, or $18,418.80 if they don't need to affix a spotlight. Graphics will again be by Octane Custom Designs at $1,000 each. The amount for all 5 vehicles, depending on whether it has a spotlight or not, from the factory, ranges between $361,594 and $362,094. And this is under our budgeted amount for major equipment purchases, which is $382,000.
Okay, great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions for Chief Mook? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the purchasing of the computer accessories and police vehicles?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes, motion carries. Next up, we have scheduling software from the Mill Creek Fire Department, and here to speak is Chief Cliff.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Mill Creek Fire Department is looking to expand its services with First Due. We have a proposal that is going to enhance some of our daily capabilities to include software that would be a Community Connect that would give an online portal for residents and businesses to input critical occupant and property data that can be available to emergency response agencies during an incident. Additionally, this software will give us the ability to do fire inspections, occupancy management and pre-planning, asset management, and inventory tracking as well, to name the highlights of the software. There is a one-time setup fee of $2,500 and a subscription fee of $12,350 for a total cost of $14,850.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions for Chief Cliff? Okay, then I will ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion carries. Next up, we have in our code enforcement remediation in our planning and development. And here to speak on this is Ms. Shallon Anderson.
On December 8th, 2023, the Code Enforcement Office received a court order to remediate one of our problem properties. The office contacted 4 separate companies for quotes for the necessary services. The quotes were received as follows. We received no quote from Blue Sky, Erie Restoration for $17,500, ServPro for $12,000 to $15,000, and Bonded Services for $2,500 for labor and $600 per 30-yard dumpster. I recommend that the work be awarded to Bonded Services with a total not to exceed the amount of $10,000. All costs incurred, including the remediation, court costs, legal fees, and any administration costs will be placed as a lien on the property to be recouped at the time of sale.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Anderson?
None here.
Okay. And do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I will call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. And now we have a plethora of items from Public Works. Mr. Rob Donikowski.
Thank you. Good morning. The Streets Department is seeking approval to purchase a new CAT 304 BB2 excavator from Cleveland Brothers Equipment. We will be trading in a 2008 Case CX50B excavator that is older and becoming much more expensive to maintain. The trade value for this machine is $21,000. Total price for the new machine from Cleveland Brothers after trade is $57,504 under Coastal's contract 44000-27914 Funds will be taken from the CAT 304 line of the Streets Department capital budget, leaving a balance of $20,496. I recommend the purchase of this excavator from Cleveland Brothers. The Sewer Department is seeking approval to purchase a Siemens 5100W mag flow meter from Gilson Engineering Sales for the E-Score lift station. The price for this meter is $2,671 and includes a 2-year warranty. Funds will be taken from the E-Score pump station line of the Sewer Department capital budget, leaving a balance of $347,329. I recommend the purchase of this flow meter. The Sewer Department is seeking approval to purchase a new control panel for the upcoming Shore Haven lift station upgrade project. One quote was received from the Height Company for $13,680. Only one quote was received for this item due to this cabinet being an exact match to all the other cabinets we have upgraded over the years. Funds for this will be taken from the Shore Haven lift station line of the sanitary sewer capital budget, leaving a balance of $86,320. I recommend the purchase of this cabinet from the Height Company. Public Works is seeking approval to purchase CityWorks software. CityWorks is an asset management software system that will be used to track all current and future assets that the township owns. The biggest benefit of this software for Public Works will be the integration with the software currently being used for the storm and sanitary sewer line inspections throughout the township. The price for this package includes the software, work order application interface, and licensing for 5 users is $45,550. Funds for this will be taken from the CityWorks line of the Public Works capital budget, leaving a balance of $2,450. I recommend the purchase of this software. And lastly, the garage is seeking approval to purchase a new air compressor and air dryer for the mechanics in Garage 1. The existing compressor has failed and is only running on 1 pump at this time, and it is not cost-effective to repair due to its age. The new air compressor is an Ingersoll Rand 2-stage Model T30 for the price of $4,040, and the air dryer is an Alltech Air Model RHT0040 with an inline filter for the price of $3,148. The total price for these units is $7,188, and funds will be taken from the contingency line of the fleet maintenance capital budget, leaving a balance of $2,812. I recommend the purchase of this compressor and air dryer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Donakowski. Any questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion carries. Item number 7 on our agenda is the acceptance of donated vehicle, an EMTA bus acquisition. And here to speak on that today is Chief Mook.
Thank you. The EMTA would like to donate a 2010 Freightliner M2 decommissioned diesel engine bus to the police department. The purpose of acquiring ownership of the vehicle would be to place it in service as a command vehicle during critical incidents. Presently, we use a box truck that has no heat or AC in the rear portion. It's primarily used by our crisis negotiation team and our SWAT incident commander and SWAT team commander. And they essentially set up a cardboard table with folding chairs as a workspace. The bus has both heat and AC in the passenger area. Further, what seats remain in the bus do fold up, accommodating tabled workspaces. The vehicle is a major upgrade over our current situation with the box truck, and no commercial driver's license is required to drive it. So I recommend that we accept the donation of the bus.
Thank you very much, Chief Mook. Any questions? I would like to say that I actually did get to go down to EMTA and walk inside of the donated vehicle. And it really does have a lot of room for the officers to move around, which is nice. And I do want to give a shout out to Jeremy Peterson from EMTA, who worked with Corporal Makowski on the acquisition of this vehicle. So I want to thank all of the participants in making sure that we were able to get something like this donated to our department. And honestly, this won't even just help our own police department. We may be able to, help other departments as well. So it's great. Thank you. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the acquisition of the EMTA bus?
So moved.
I'll second.
It was, a motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Motion carries. Next up, number 8 on our agenda is the ordinance 2024-1. And here to speak on that is Attorney Shaw.
Yes, before you is ordinance 2024-1 to install stop signs at several intersections in the Asbury Woods Estates subdivision and at the intersection of Canterbury Drive. The township received a request to evaluate whether it was warranted to install stop signs at the following intersections: Thoroughbred Loop and Hialeah Court, Thoroughbred Loop and Lawndale Drive, Thoroughbred Loop and Equestrian Drive, Thoroughbred Loop and Palomino Court, and West 21st Street and Canterbury Drive. The township reviewed these intersections in accordance with PennDOT guidelines, and the township's engineer determined that stop signs were warranted at these intersections. This ordinance authorizes the installation of 9 stop signs and becomes effective after February 18th of 2024 upon installation of the signs. My recommendation would be to approve ordinance 2024-1.
Okay. Do I have any questions for Mr. Mr. Waldinger? Attorney Shaw? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve ordinance 2024-1?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries. And I vote yes, so the motion carries. All right, the new amended ordinance is under review, number 9 on our agenda. A subdivision and land development ordinance, the Saldo Amendment. Mr. Shaw.
Yes, just to note that we're continuing to work with engineering and planning and development to coordinate the final review of that ordinance so that we can present it to the supervisors.
Great, thank you very much. Number 10 on our agenda is a request to forward zoning ordinance amendment recommendations to the Planning Commission. And to speak on that is Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Good morning. This request comes from Matt Puz, the Zoning and Development Officer for the township. And this is a request to begin the amendment process for the zoning ordinance. It was adopted, the current ordinance was adopted in April of 2022. And since then, we found a few minor errors and typos. There's also some changes and additions regarding certain uses that aren't addressed or that we would like to address in a better fashion. According to the municipality's planning code, the first step in amending the zoning ordinance is for the Board of Supervisors to forward it to the Planning Commission with a request that they make recommendations on any amendments. And so right now, I would like to request that the board would forward the zoning ordinance to the Planning Commission for them to begin the process, and my department will work with the Planning Commission to carry that out.
Okay. Just for clarification, Mr. Waldinger, what will be the next steps after, if the board does choose to vote to send it to the Planning Commission?
So the next steps are we would provide some thoughts to the Planning Commission on what our suggested changes are, get their feedback, put all those together in a document that would then be presented to the public at a Planning Commission meeting. Then we would have to wait 30 days and it could be presented to the Board of Supervisors. So there is a lengthy process and several opportunities for public comment along the way.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Will there be a specific public comment? Will there be a specific public comment event for the public to, or will it be done at one of our supervisor meetings?
It will occur at a Planning Commission meeting, but there will
okay.
definitely be required notification that we will place. If I had to guess, it could potentially happen at maybe the April or May Planning Commission meetings,
Okay.
but we'll definitely advertise that as it comes around.
Okay, great. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the request to forward the zoning ordinance to the Planning Commission?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Motion carries. On our agenda next is number 11, the notification of exclusion from a land development. And to speak on this is Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. Yes, this is simply a notification only, no action is required. I just wanted to notify the board and the public that we did have an addition to a building. It is located at 2244 West 38th Street. The developer proposed a 587 square foot addition to an existing office building that does qualify in our ordinance as something that we could administratively approve without it needing to go through the land development process, but this is just a notification to the board that it happened. Even though the project did not go through the land development process, they were still required to abide by all township ordinances, including stormwater management.
Okay, great, thank you. So no action needs to be taken.
Correct.
Thank you. Number 12 on our agenda, memorandum of understanding with volunteer departments. Mr. Shaw.
Yes, first let me ask, Chief Cliff, did you hear anything regarding Westlake?
Negative.
Okay. So on October 24th of 2023, the township approved an agreement with West Ridge Fire Department to integrate the Mill Creek Fire Department and with the operations of the township's volunteer fire departments. At that time, it's indicated West Ridge was the only fire department that was willing to execute that agreement. Subsequent to that approval, further negotiations have been held with some modifications being made to that agreement. And Kearsarge Volunteer Fire Department has agreed to execute that modified agreement. And the modifications are related to various clarifications of the provisions of the original agreement. In order to have a consistent agreement between the township and the volunteer fire departments, the township also offered that to have West Ridge replace the original agreement with this new modified agreement, which it has agreed to do. In general, the agreement provides that the Mill Creek provides the Mill Creek Fire Department with the ability to use the firehouse facilities and apparatus of the volunteer fire departments. It also addresses various fire department related issues such as volunteer fire department response requirements, uniform specifications for a variety of things. The agreement also addresses funding issues of the volunteer fire departments, including the township's willingness to fund capital purchases and to allow fire tax funds and appropriate monies to volunteer departments. With the approval of this agreement, we'll now have 2 of the 4 Mill Creek Township volunteer fire departments executing this agreement, and I would recommend that the supervisors approve this agreement or this amended agreement as it applies to West Ridge and Kearsarge volunteer fire departments. I will note that I believe Westlake was considering approving this. We just haven't heard yet, so I would also suggest that your approval would include Westlake to the extent they agree to this agreement, and our discussions with Bell Valley continue.
Great. Thank you for the update there. And this does warrant a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So do I have a motion to approve the MOU with the volunteer departments?
So moved.
Second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. The motion carries. Number 13 on our agenda is the sale of property from the Erie County Repository. And this would be done on, this is from Zook Road. Do we have, Melanie, would you like to speak on this? You don't have to.
No, actually, I just passed it on to Mark.
Of course, my computer's not working at the moment,
Oh,
so.
I can read it.
Sorry.
The county has a program where properties that don't get sold on the tax sale get onto a repository list that can then be purchased for, I think it's $250. This is a parcel that's located on Zook Road. I don't have the exact address. Kim, I don't know if you may have that in
I
front
do.
of you. But it's a parcel that's very small parcel. When we agree to these types of things, the taxes that are owed are wiped out. This is a parcel that's had maybe 5 or 6 years of taxes, unpaid taxes. I think the amount that's owed to the township is like $13 or $14 a year, so it's a very minimal amount. So I would recommend that the township, approve this repository sale.
Yeah, these came up often when I was at the county. They're usually very, very small pieces, maybe attached to a different piece or landlocked in some way, so. Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Mr. Shaw? Okay, and is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet, seconded by Mr. Bach, and I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Motion carries. Okay, next up on our agenda is the letter to the Erie County Department of Public Safety regarding emergency responder procedure updates. And to speak on that today is Chief Cliff.
Thank you. Before you is a letter that the Board of Supervisors would ultimately approve and send to the Erie County Department of Public Safety. It includes some updates to the pre-plans for fire and EMS response within Mill Creek Township that is done through the supervisors. And then this letter would also give myself, the fire chief for Mill Creek Township, the ability to update future pre-plans as Mill Creek Township deems necessary.
Great. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And motion was made by Mr. Olet, seconded by Mr. Bach. I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Motion carries. Next up on our agenda, we have the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. This would be Resolution 2024 R-2. And to speak on this is Attorney Shaw.
Yes, before is Resolution 2024 R2 to allow the township to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Sourcewell in order to participate with Sourcewell's cooperative purchasing program. The township is already a member of Sourcewell but needs to execute the attached agreement in order to comply with Pennsylvania law relating to cooperative purchasing programs. Sourcewell is a service cooperative established by Minnesota statute and provides a cooperative purchasing program to participating entities, which include any eligible entity, which includes political subdivisions located in other states that register and sign agreements with Sourcewell. Under sections 1902 and 1908 of the Pennsylvania Procurement Code, the township is permitted to participate in these cooperative purchasing programs. This is a program that is similar to CoStarz, which the township currently often utilizes. Purchasing from Sourcewell, like CoStarz, satisfies the township's obligations for advertising and bidding. It would be my recommendation to approve the resolution and to execute the agreement with Sourcewell.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Shaw? Mr. Shaw, just so we can kind of notify the public here. So this is another way that our directors are able to find eligible or items and at prices that are comparable.
Correct. What Sourcewell does, much like what CoStarz does, although I think actually Sourcewell is on a more national basis, they'll negotiate ahead of time. They'll issue RFPs for a certain type of product or a certain type of service. They get that information, they do all the evaluation in the same manner that you would do if you would go out and get the 3 bids that you were required to do. So then they review it and end up entering into agreements with these entities. And under state law, as long as they follow their procedures, the township is able to utilize and rely on them for the purchasing of equipment. So instead of just relying on CoStarz as an option for equipment, Sourcewell provides another alternative to maybe compare, and maybe because Sourcewell is more on a national level than CoStarz, which is on a state level, there may be some benefits to that.
Yeah, more competitive pricing. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Mr. Shaw? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, we'll move on to the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. The motion carries. Okay, number 16 on our agenda, amendment to site access agreement with Mill Creek Township General Authority. And this would be Mr. Shaw.
Yeah, before you is an amendment to the access agreement between the township and the Mill Creek Township General Authority. The township previously entered into an access agreement with the authority for the Bel Air property in order to enable the township and its representatives, such as the police department and fire departments, to conduct non-destructive training exercises in the Bel Air. This agreement amends that original access agreement to include the Manor Motel, Sandbar, and Joe Roots properties for purposes of the non-destructive training exercises, and extends the term until December 31 of 2024. The recommendation is to approve this agreement and to authorize the chair to execute it. If approved, this amendment will be placed before the General Authority at their meeting this afternoon for their review and approval. It certainly gives at least added flexibility to the fire departments to, do different training exercises in the police department as well. So, I know that to date it's been used on several occasions, and it's been, I think, a great benefit to the police department to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, sometimes I'll get a call that they see some activity at the properties and they're wondering what's happening. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Shaw? Okay, then I will ask for a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Open it up for discussion. Okay, a motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Since there's no discussion, I'll ask Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. The motion carries. Number 17 on our agenda is the Mill Creek Township General Authority Board Member Appointment. After extensive interviews that we did with community members that came forward, the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Bach, Mr. Olet, and I have decided that we are going to recommend Laith Wardy to be a member of the General Authority Board, and we are here to make that appointment. And I am going to give a little bit of information on Mr. Wardy. Hold on. Where did my... here it is. Mr. Wardy received his economic development certification through the International Economic Development Council in Washington, D.C. in 2002, where he is also a longtime instructor for the organization. During that time, he has trained roughly 10,000 economic development professionals on best practices, business retention, and expansion strategies, tools, and tactics. In addition, he conducts 2 8-week online courses each year for Oklahoma University's Economic Development Institute. Mr. Wardy's locally based company provides customer relationship management and related technology and support to economic development, government, and allied professionals throughout the United States and Canada. He is a frequent speaker to economic development audiences in North America, and as well as limited speaking engagements in Europe. He provides state-level economic development certification training in Alabama, Arkansas, British Columbia, Louisiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. Mr. Wardy, as vice chair for both the Tom Ridge Environmental Center and the Enterprise Development Center of Erie County, has served on economic development committees during the administrations of County Executives Shanker and Dahlkamper. Both he and his wife are longtime residents of Mill Creek, where his wife also operates her successful dental practice. I think that the qualifications and the that little bit that I've given has definitely proven the economic development experience that Mr. Wardy is going to give the authority. So I am at this point going to see if there are any questions from the board. Any comments? Okay. And do I have a motion to approve Mr. Wardy to the general authority?
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. The motion carries, and congratulations to Mr. Lathwardy. Okay, now we're on to item number 18 in communications. We have treasurer communications first. Ms. Melanie Page.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you very much, Ms. Page. We have next 2023 Planning Commission and Annual Report. Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you. As required by the Municipalities Planning Code, the Mill Creek Township Planning Commission has presented their annual report to the Board of Supervisors. I just would like to quickly run down and summarize a few of the highlights. You do have a full copy of the report before you. In total, 9 of the 12 regularly scheduled meetings of the Planning Commission were held in 2023. There were no applications for 3 of those meetings, so they were not held. During that time, the Planning Commission reviewed and made recommendations on 9 small subdivisions, 7 land developments, 2 conditional uses, 2 rezoning requests, and 1 request for a planning waiver and non-building declaration. They also reviewed and made a recommendation regarding the Presque Isle Gateway District. And in 2024, the Planning Commission would like to make the following recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. 1 would be to update the subdivision and land development ordinance to be consistent with the new comprehensive plan, which, as you know, we are currently working on. And 2 would be the recommendation to begin looking at a 5-year review of the progress of the comprehensive plan, since 2023 marked the halfway point of the 10-year plan.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Waldinger. Next up on our agenda is the MPD Communications 2023 accomplishments. And here to speak on that is Chief Mook.
Thank you. I wanted to make the public aware that the year 2023 brought a tremendous amount of change and progress at the police department, starting with the naming of a new chief of police. And throughout the year, the Board of Supervisors unanimously provided a great deal of support during this year of transition, and our accomplishments simply would not have been possible without them. So many of us worked hard to further our level of service to our community and to each other. Change is never easy, and I want to again thank everyone for their contributions and patience. Our major accomplishments in no particular order were resolving a rank structure issue within investigative services, pepperball weapon training and issuance, and we successfully resolved an incident last summer with a woman who was armed with a knife and in a mental health crisis while we were assisting the state police. There were multiple policy updates to modernize our department SOP manual to include bias-based policing policy, updating the body-worn camera use and review policy, instituting a workplace anti-harassment and anti-discrimination policy, a return of the captain rank to the Special Services Division, the naming of a department training coordinator, an additional 8 hours of training per month for our MPD SWAT team to meet national standards, implementation of an online scheduling software program, PowerTime, a new vehicle purchase for investigative services, slings and mounts for installation on our department less lethal 12-gauge shotguns, implementation of our peer support program and crisis clinician position in partnership with UPMC Safe Harbor. And the clinician is meeting with, on average, over 50 people a month. So we're providing a great deal of service to our community. And the peer support program was invaluable in the aftermath of our officer-involved shooting that we had in September. Over the course of the year, we secured over $1.2 million in funding for various projects at the police department, most notably the COAST program, the gun violence detective and patrol supplemental staffing program, and the body-worn camera and mobile video recording equipment upgrades. And we instituted the Employee of the Month and Employee of the Year recognition. Thank you.
Is that all you did last year?
That's all we did.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. I know, kudos to you and your department, and your leadership has been really game-changing. I think that, with the training that we have in place, the grant applications, and we are in good hands with you at the helm. So thank you very much for all you do, Chief Mook.
Thank you.
Okay, we now have some training and travel requests. The Mill Creek Fire Department, Chief Cliff is going to go first. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Thank God for Jerry. Hiring requests. We want to make sure we get people hired. The first request we have is for the MPD. Chief Mook.
Yes, to fill a vacancy, the command staff and the human resources manager, Mrs. Lyons, we conducted interviews of applicants to establish an eligibility list. And at the top of that list is Martin Lipkowski, who I recommend for hire with a start date of March 29th. Now, his start date is delayed because he has a wife that's due to deliver a baby, and he resides in Pittsburgh and needs time to sell a home and acquire housing in Erie. The starting rate will be $30.24 per hour, and a bio for Mr. Lepkowski is that he and his wife are both natives of Mill Creek Township. He was a graduate of the Mercyhurst Police Academy and has worked full-time for the last 8 years with the Pittsburgh Police Department. He started his career in patrol, assigned to Zone 5, which is the busiest police work zone in Pittsburgh, and he currently serves as a detective in their homicide unit. So he'll bring with us a wealth of knowledge and experience.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions for Chief Mook?
Questions?
Yes.
So his starting rate is $30.24 an hour. And it says probationary. So is he being treated as a new hire as opposed to having the 8 years?
Right, he's a new hire for us. So he'll start at the probationary pay rate and then work up next year through the 5-year process to reach Class A patrolman. The prior years of service don't translate to years for service for us.
Why not?
It's just the way our contract is. You as a new hire, start at that probationary pay rate.
Okay. I wouldn't be against him starting at the higher rate. I don't know if that's in the contract.
Based upon past practice, it's not something we've never done.
Okay, I was just curious. I don't remember hiring. I know we brought how many people over from a different department? Not many.
We did quite a few last year.
There's been,
Uh-huh.
well, there's been a couple. But how many years' experience did they have?
We brought over the 3 Meadville officers, and they ranged from 1 or 2 years of service
That's
to
what I was thinking. They had very little.
6 or 7 years of service.
Okay. All right, I'm just bringing that up as a point maybe for the future. I think someone with 8 years' experience should be paid with that in mind. So maybe that's something we can reevaluate.
Okay, sounds good.
Maybe for all of our union members, everyone coming in. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion carries. Next up, we have Public Works Sewer Department.
The sewer department is seeking approval to hire Raymond Passanelli with a retroactive start date of 2/6/24. Ray will have a starting salary of $20.74 per hour. Ray previously worked for Waste Management for over 4 years. He worked for the City of Erie Refuse Department for 4 years, and he worked as a part-time laborer in the City of Erie for 1 year in their streets department. He has a Class B CDL, and Ray does have general laboring experience and some welding experience to bring to the sewer department. I would recommend his hire.
Great. Any questions or comments? He also comes with a wealth of knowledge and experience. What is his starting rate?
$20.74 per hour.
Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, open it up for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion carries. And now we have our CRS Department, Community Relations and Sustainability. Ms. Stutzman.
Good morning, thank you. After conducting interviews for the communications intern, I recommend Abigail McCrell as the candidate to be hired. Abigail is studying communications at Penn State Behrend and recently completed a communications internship with the City of Erie, where she learned real-life applications of social media, design, and outreach. It is my recommendation to hire Abigail McCrell as the part-time spring semester communications intern at the rate of $15 per hour for 15 hours weekly. Her first day of work would begin on Monday, February 19th, and her position was budgeted for in the 2024 CRS staffing line item.
Great. Any questions for Ms. Stutzman? Okay, then I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
I'll second, Kim.
Okay, and motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion carries. Now we are on to training and travel requests. We have the Mill Creek Fire Department. There are 7 requests.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. As a condition of employment, all firefighters are required to obtain a minimum of firefighter 1 within their first year of employment. I'm requesting the approval of Greg Ackrey to obtain his firefighter 1 prep course at Butler Community College for a total cost of $50. We're also encouraging firefighters to seek the highest level of training. Full-time firefighter Matt Flack is requesting to obtain his firefighter 2 certification. Classes are being held at Perry Highway on September 20th and 21st. The total cost for that class is $160. Auburn Career Center is hosting a paramedic class on March 7th of 2024 that runs through February 6th of 2025. Classes are going to be held Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Total course cost is $8,375. It's my recommendation that Mill Creek Township Fire Department sends firefighter Nathaniel Serafin to obtain his paramedic. Condition of employment would be a minimum of 2 years continued service with Mill Creek Township. The International Association of Fire Chiefs Eastern Division is hosting a 2024 conference titled Leadership on the Line. It's being held May 10th and 11th in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. The total cost for the conference and hotel is $610. This approval would be for myself to go to this conference. Transportation will be done by department vehicle. Erie Fire Department is hosting a educational mythology and fire instructor 1 course, which will be held March 25th through the 28th and April 5th. And then they'll also do a fire officer 1 being held May 20th through the 23rd and also on May 31st. And fire officer 2, which will be held September 16th through the 19th and on the 27th. The course is free other than a cost of books, which is a total of $738. It's my recommendation that Mill Creek Township Fire Department sends firefighter Gerald Hicken, Joe Albrzezinski, Matt Flack, David West, and Bradley Jacobson. Auburn Career Center is hosting a paramedic class starting March 6th. 2024 runs through February 5th of 2025. Classes are Monday and Wednesday from 4 to 10 p.m. It's my recommendation that we send Ryan Sargent, he's currently a part-time firefighter, to obtain his paramedic. Again, that approval would be a condition of employment with a minimum of 2 years with Mill Creek Township. And then also, we have another student paramedic course. It would be the recommendation to send Jacob Wolf to the same course that's held at Auburn Career Center at a total cost of $8,375. For all of these paramedic requests, it would be the request that the township would enable these firefighters to carpool to and from class using township vehicle. There's a total of 4 students that would be taking this paramedic class together.
Great. Chief Cliff, before I move on, I guess it would be great for our public to know, the importance of our firefighters having the paramedic background.
Yes. So with the integration of the career staff, we're going to be starting off with running paramedic engine companies. So we're going to be doing first response, where we'll have trained paramedics within Mill Creek Fire Department that will respond to all ALS calls within Mill Creek Township.
Mm-hmm. And this is in response to the EMS, I guess, the critical need of EMS and first responders on scene. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the majority of calls that we get are not necessarily for fire, but they are for paramedic health medical services. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And that fills this need in Mill Creek Township?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's phenomenal. I don't know, I think we are probably the safest place in Erie County to live. Just saying. Okay, that was biased. Okay, any other questions for Chief Cliff? All right.
If I could, Madam Chairman, Chief, in terms of the agreement and the term of how long they have to remain as employed as with the fire department, how is that term determined? And I assume we'll need some type of written agreement for them to sign that commits them to that?
Correct. They are understanding that with the approval of us paying for their paramedic school, it's a large investment into them, and they become very marketable people with their paramedic certification. So we want to make sure that we're creating an environment where they want to stay here. And it would be an agreement where if they did choose to leave employment with Mill Creek Township less than 2 years, that they would have to pay back the cost of the tuition for paramedic school.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
Okay, I'll open it up for discussion. Hearing none, call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion carries. Next up on training and travel requests is the MPD. We have 5.
Yeah, the fire department outdid us this week. The first one, the Edinburgh Police Department is hosting the Read Technique Interview and Interrogation Course at their borough building, April 9th through the 12th. Cost is $580, which includes a $50 early registration discount if paid for by March 9th. Travel will be by department vehicle and no other costs are expected. Corporal Jeremy Green had previously been scheduled for this course, but due to a scheduling conflict, he ended up not attending, so I'm requesting that Green be approved to attend this course. Second, there's a command leadership course being held March 18th through the 22nd in Painesville, Ohio, that is being offered by FBI LEDA. The purpose of the course is to advance the art and science of police supervision for police commanders. I recommend that Captain Hauber be approved to attend the course. He is commander of the Special Services Division. His role demands supervision of several sworn and non-sworn key personnel. Tuition is $795. Hotel costs are $866.10. Per diem is $352, and fuel is estimated at $40. Total travel costs are $1,188.10. The next one, back on November 14th of 2023, the Board of Supervisors approved a training request for 9 officers to attend a sexual assault investigations course in April in Plymouth Meeting, PA, and the SART grant through the Crime Victim Center is reimbursing the township for the salaries of the attending officers, which totals $19,293.75. The township's covering per diem and fuel costs, which are $3,780.50. So in essence, the township is coming out ahead on this training to the amount of $15,513.25. So I'm seeking approval to place that net salary gain back into the training and travel budget for the police department to afford to send members of the SWAT team to train at the 2024 Ohio Tactical Officers Association's conference in June, which leads to my next request. This conference is taking place June 9th through the 14th in Sandusky, Ohio, and this is an excellent training opportunity for our SWAT operators to learn the best practices for tactics and decision-making when responding to critical incidents. And this is more than just a classroom training, this is actual hands-on training. And I'm seeking approval to send 11 of the SWAT members to this conference. The course registration is $400 per person for a total of $4,400. Hotel rooms are approximately $160 a night for 5 nights, 6 rooms, totaling $4,800. Travel day per diem is $48 per the officer's first day each, and $64 for the full training days thereafter at 5 days each. The total there is $3,948. Fuel costs are estimated at $295. Total travel costs are $9,043, and total costs for the training are $13,443, which is under the amount I mentioned previously of the $15,513. And the last request I have is for 3 officers to attend a training course at the Northwest Training Center of the State Police in Meadville, February 27th and 28th, titled Non-Traffic Equivocal Death Investigation. The course is pertinent to someone serving in a detective capacity. Detectives Inman, Juca, and Pastorati have yet to attend this course, and I'm requesting permission to do so. There's no cost to register, and travel will be by department vehicle. And that concludes my training requests.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions for Chief Mook? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes. The motion carries. Next, we have the Community Relations and Sustainability Department. We have 2 requests.
Thank you. I am requesting permission for 1 additional CRS employee, myself, to attend the Professional Recyclers of Pennsylvania continuing education classes virtually on March 13th and 14th in order to maintain prop certification. Again, this is recycling 110, 115, and 150. This rate for the 3-part class is $505 with membership status, and the training has been budgeted for under the 2024 line item training expense. And the last thing was to add to the pre-conference education request that went in previously. The prop Education Board opened up pre-conference classes. And so we wanted to request permission for 3 CRS employees to attend the Professional Recyclers of Pennsylvania Tuesday pre-conference classes, which were not included in the last request. The cost is $275 per person, and the 3 individuals can choose between a waste management class and tour of a MRF or professional development. The total for the 3 employees with membership status is $825, and this has been budgeted under the 2024 line item training expense.
Great. Thank you very much, Ms. Stutzman. Any questions? Okay, then I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Motion carries. Next up, Sewer Department. We have Mr. Donikowski.
Thank you. The Sewer Department is seeking approval to send 5 employees to a hydraulics, pumps, and bearings training through PA Rural Water on April 25th at the Summit Township Building. Employees attending this training are Mark Wells, Bert Mayo, Keith Lawson, Matt Stevens, and Clayton Cifelli. This training will give these employees the remaining continuing education credits they need to maintain their current sewer and water licenses. Total cost for these employees to attend is $750. Funds will be taken from the training line of the sanitary sewer budget, leaving a balance of $395.58. I would just like to say this training would definitely be worthwhile because every lift station we have has all these components, and they would be able to use this information daily. So I recommend sending these employees to this training.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Donakowski. Any questions for Mr. Donakowski? How many lift stations do we have, Mr. Donakowski?
44.
44, and they need to be checked every day, is that
Ev-
correct? 7
every day.
days a week?
We have 3 that are checked 7 days a week. 41 of them are checked 5 days a week.
Wow,
So-
okay.
Yep, that's a big part of our sewer system.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Olet and seconded by Mr. Bach. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Olet, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Mr. Bach, how do you vote?
Yes.
I also vote yes, motion carries. Okay, we now move to executive sessions. Executive sessions were held on both February 1st, 2024 and February 8th, 2024. On February 1st, 2024, litigation matters related to the federal and state court lawsuit and code enforcement, as well as real estate matters related to parks and rec facilities and easements on the township properties were discussed. On February 8th, 2024, litigation matters related to the zoning hearing board appeals, state court lawsuits, an opioid settlement, and code enforcement issues were discussed, as well as real estate matters related to parks and rec facilities, the official map, and also easements on township properties. Okay, up next, we have the solicitor communications.
Yes, I just have one. At its quarterly meeting of January 18th of 2024, the Mill Creek Township Fire and Emergency Medical Services Commission approved 4 recommendations to be passed along to the supervisors for consideration. These 4 recommendations are as follows. First, that the township supervisors send a letter on township letterhead to the Erie County Dispatch Center to rescind the prior pre-planned arrangement on all Priority 1 EMS calls. And secondly, that it is recommended that Chief Cliff and the volunteer fire departments work together to establish new plans for the unified Mill Creek Fire Department. I believe this was addressed earlier in the meeting. Second recommendation was that the township supervisors purchase an ambulance for the Mill Creek Fire Department with staffing for 2 full-time personnel operating 24/7. The third recommendation was for the supervisors to begin discussions on the feasibility and timing of a new Bell Valley Fire Station. And the fourth recommendation was for the 2 township supervisors to approve the transition to First Dues Record Management System, which I also believe was addressed earlier in this meeting.
Great, thank you very much, Mr. Shaw. We do not have a student ambassador representative here today, so we will conclude that and move on to citizens to be heard. Any citizen wishing to speak today has 5 minutes. They can give their name, but please write down their name and address. Citizens to be heard twice. Citizens to be heard thrice. Okay, seeing none, we have our next meeting will be held February 28th? 7th, thank you, Tuesday, February 27th at 4:30 in the afternoon. Any other updates? No? Okay. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A first was given by Mr. Olet, second by Mr. Bach, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm not calling for the vote on that one. Okay, meeting adjourned.